Council on the Administration of Justice, the Honorable Chief Justice, and the entire Secretariat for their steadfast leadership in coordinating Kenya's justice sector. Indeed, the NCAJ continues to exemplify the principle that justice is the business of all who care for good governance. This report stands as a mirror reflecting the collective effort of institutions and individuals who work tirelessly to uphold the rule of law and deliver justice to all Kenyans. It reminds us that justice is not the preserve of a single institution. It is a shared responsibility that calls for collaboration, accountability, and unwavering commitment. The true measure of an effective justice system is the experience of the citizen at the point of service delivery. As the former Chief Justice, Emeritus Willie Mutunga, once reminded us, the Constitution is not self-executing. It requires active citizens and responsive institutions. Our success as a justice sector is thus measured not merely by the number of cases determined, but by how ordinary Kenyans experience fairness, efficiency, and access to this report. We are also launching the monitoring evaluation that allows us to gauge justice from the lens of the citizen, not the institution. Expectations and experiences of the people over bureaucratic rigidity. Justice means that when a Kenyan walks into a police station, a court, a land registry, or a legal aid office, they encounter fairness, dignity, and respect. And most importantly, they find justice. As Mahatma Gandhi wisely observed, justice that is not acceptable is justice denied. We must therefore ensure that justice is not a privilege of the few, but a right that is lived and felt by every Kenyan, particularly the vulnerable and the marginalized. Over the past year, Kenya has made significant progress in improving access to justice. We have seen the digitization of court processes, the mainstreaming of alternative justice system and alternative dispute resolution, and the expansion of legal aid through the National Legal Aid Services. For example, through the digital transformation, the small claims courts have cleared thousands of commercial disputes in record time, helping small traders, many of them women and youth, recover livelihoods that might otherwise have been lost. But even as we celebrate progress, we must ask ourselves the hard questions. Are citizens truly satisfied with the pace of justice? Are adjournments, missing files, or procedural delays diminishing faith in our institutions? As Lord Denning once said, justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. This calls us to action, to restore faith, to build efficiency, and to renew trust. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I commend the Honorable Chief Justice for her leadership in expanding the alternative justice system and alternative dispute resolution, innovations that have brought justice closer to communities by promoting reconciliation and reducing case backlogs. Within our respective institutions, we too must innovate, whether through digital legal aid platforms, public legal awareness campaigns, or mobile legal clinics. Our shared responsibility is to design systems that meet citizens where they are, literally and figuratively. As the Chief Legal Advisor to Government, my office remains steadfast in advancing people-centered justice through law reform, legal aid, and institutional strengthening. In furtherance of this commitment, the Office of the Attorney General has undertaken strategic and deliberate efforts to enhance access to justice as part of the broader sector reforms, justice sector reforms. A key milestone in this regard is the operationalization of the legal aid services across all the 47 counties through the deployment of state counsel to serve indigent and vulnerable populations. As we all know, the Legal Aid Act came into effect in 2016, but since then, It has only been operationalized in about 10 counties, and even in those 10 counties, the government has not fully funded the legal aid services. It has been funded by donors and partners, which means we've not incorporated it into our system and we have not enhanced it. So the Office of the Attorney General deliberately appointed 100 state counsel whom took through the normal public service induction. The Chief Justice graciously inducted them for 2 months, and from 18th of November, in fact from the 2nd of November, every county has 2 legal aid officers. They will man legal aid centers. These legal aid centers are being established in purpose-designed fabricated containers with modern solar-powered and digitally connected containers. Each center will host state counsel supported by clerks and administrative staff and will provide free legal assistance in key thematic areas including land disputes. As we sit today, there are 15,000 cases against the government being handled by the Office of the Attorney General. We believe that 3/4 of those cases should not be in court. They are in court because of lack of legal aid and information. Probate and administration has been a cause of suffering to women and children. Just as an example, when you get letters of administration, a further step is confirmation and distribution. But we have seen our institution transferring properties, moving assets using letters of administration before confirmation and distribution. Therefore, the young people, the young children, are not benefiting from these assets. And sometimes even the widows are not benefiting from these assets. So we found that this is a very critical area for us to give legal aid, and we shall give legal aid free of charge in all the 47 counties of Kenya in this area to people who deserve. So in land cases and probate and administration, we'll have to apply the means test because they are civil cases. As you know, legal aid was provided for in the old constitution, but it was only in criminal matters, treason and murder. And if you are before the superior court and you appealed and you are not represented. Why civil matters? Because under the new constitution, they are now justiciable. So civil and political rights are justiciable, but they are not self-executing. So you must approach the court. As the custodian of human rights, defender of the rule of law, I think this is an area where we should give people legal aid. Our young people, we have to protect our Gen Zs from the system. And we are saying that if we effectively give them legal aid, just few of them should go through the criminal justice system. We should be able to remove children from the criminal justice system and deal with them in alternative ways. Now, the national commissioning of these legal aid services is scheduled for 18th of November in Kibera, marking a defining step in actualizing Article 48 of the Constitution and SDGs 16, which guarantees access to justice for all. This initiative affirms our belief that justice, like health and education, must be universally accessible to every Kenyan. And you'll realize that we are adopting containers to operationalize legal aid. Why containers? In Nairobi, the Office of the Attorney General and the Legal Aid Department is in Bruce House, 9th floor. How many people can go there? How many people can access it? We wanted a place that is accessible to the people and is friendly. So if you look at our booths for legal aid, we launched one in Machakos. It is a 20 by 40 container. It has 2 booths and an office. That office will contain a desk for probate and administration, land cases, and children in conflict with the law. That office will be a liaison office with the children's officers, the lands department, and everybody who works in that area. But in that office also, we are going to have a desk for POMAC, Power of Mercy, so that you can know how to apply. In that office also, we will have a desk for victims' rights. so that we can tell you as a victim, how do you participate in the criminal justice process? How do you get back your exhibits? How do you give victim impact assessment? It is a tall order, but I believe somebody must do it. If we do it together, we will do it. And we must work very closely with the Law Society of Kenya. An innovation that I must talk about in those containers is that the 2 booths are supposed to be teaching people on how to self-represent. How do you attend court virtually? So each container has 2 booths. We hope to work with the young people to educate the citizen on how to access the court virtually. And why that? Because the Chief Justice and the judiciary is moving very fast with the technology and virtual courts. But are they moving with the people? They are. Why are they moving with the people? Because it is the responsibility of other institutions like us to support them according to our mandate to make sure that we move with the people. So it is our responsibility to educate the people to self-represent and to know how to access virtual courts. So we hope that when we come to Parliament, Deputy Speaker, the National Legal Aid Services has never been supported. I have given them 100 State Council. We will need to support the Legal Aid Service. We will need to give them human resource and infrastructure. For example, leveraging on technology, we are going to have a virtual call center that is going to be operational 24 hours. They need money, but somebody has to do it. I am passionate about legal aid because my background is prosecution. I was there for 33 years. And I realized that we would do very well if there was legal aid. Out of the 58,000 people who are in custody, half of them are pre-trial. If they had legal aid, they would not be there. Half of them are poor, half of them are children. It is a wonder that now I went to Naivasha prison asking whether we are taking the people with us. And I must showcase the PS correctional. I chaired a meeting at the Naivasha prison for Power of Mercy, CS Murkomen. It was a family day, which is a wonder. The families came to visit their people. It was a very innovative thing. It was very, very, very moving. At the same time, Naivasha Maximum Prison is smart and clean and very well landscaped. You will not even think that you're in prison. And I think that is giving dignity to the people who are incarcerated, which is a very good thing. So what would happen if we fully operationalize legal aid? We will reduce the number of cases that go to court. We will sieve cases that should not go to court, not to be in court. We will reduce the time that is taken by cases that are in court. We will sieve cases. We will enhance alternative justice. We will make sure that we have citizens who are educated, informed, accessed, and facilitated through the justice system. And it is only that citizen that is facilitated and is informed that is the person that can participate in governance and eventually participate in democracy. Because all these things are issues of process. As the former UN Secretary General Annan once said, without access to justice, there can be no human rights. And without human rights, there can be no development. To advance people-centered justice, we must begin to measure justice differently, not only through numbers or judgments, but by the lived experiences of fairness. Our goal must be to foster trust in the justice system by ensuring that every Kenyan feels heard, respected, and protected under the law. I'm encouraged that the NCAJ Secretariat will soon release the guide on people-centered justice, as outlined in Chapter 9 of this report. This will serve as a shared compassion to align our efforts towards evidence-based and citizen-focused reforms. The national commissioning of these legal aid services, that's a repetition. So let us therefore remember that justice is not an abstract ideal. It is the daily act of fairness, empathy, and service. When we make justice truly centered on people, it transforms from a system into a service, from an obligation into a covenant of trust. I dare remind us, justice is not measured in volumes of law, but in the humanity of its delivery. And therefore, for all the institutions represented here today, I serve the current government. And in the current government, our motto is bottom up. And if it is bottom up, each institution must ask, what am I doing? So the first question that His Excellency the President asks Cabinet every time we meet and in every occasion, in a mandate that you have been given, how do you make sure that you are carrying the people with you? Secondly, how are you making sure that your policies like this one meet ordinary life? Because they are not just abstract, but how are they meeting ordinary life? And then, just as we are working towards universal health care, how do we work towards universal justice? Not just universal, it must be quality, equitable, effective, efficient, so that we have a citizen that participates in governance and democracy. Justice means nothing if it does not protect the powerless. When we are here, we make decisions, but mostly we are making decisions about people who are not with us on the table. So how do you make sure that your participation protects the person who is not in the table? Let me just say that let us not be slaves to fate. Let us be authors of the future. And with those few remarks, together, let us build a justice system that every Kenyan can believe in, that is efficient, compassionate, and truly people-centered. Thank you and God bless.